Hello everyone, welcome to second class for the surface modeling with SolidWorks. We have started some basic features in surface modeling in the previous class, and today we are going to deep dive on a little more advanced practices of the surface modeling and advanced part modeling with the surfaces. So the first exercise that I would like to go with ended up in creating a model that I call a shoehorn, something like that. And we are going to use boundary surface or even the loft surfaces to create this part. As you will see, there are multiple profiles into that. If you look at from this section, there is a bend here and there is a semicircular bend at the end, and also the profile of the shoehorn here is defined by another like a half circle profile. So let's deep dive on it. Let me close this. I would like to start a new part in SolidWorks. This part model would be based on dimensions in inches, so I'm going to change it from mmgs to IPS, which would be inch pound second system. Okay, so to start modeling, we have to start sketching that. So we are going to go to right plane, and we are going to create a sketch there. So I would like to start by adding a circle here, and diameter of this circle would be 1 inches. I'm going to add a horizontal center line and a vertical center line started from origin. We will use this feature later down the road. Then so one circle, two center line here. Now, I wanted to create a more, I'm trying to create a profile, side profile of that shoehorn. So let's use a spline. So a spline is you can create a curve, and depends on how many points you can add to that. The curve could be defined differently. This is 2 points. So I clicked, let me start one more time. Select spline, and not on these two corners, select something here, something this point, and go all the way here and release the spline point, and right click, select. So you should have two, and if you see that every time you click on it, you see some handles, which these handles you can shift it, and it's going to create a sort of like a configuration. So I keep the handle above a spline, and for this point at the end I keep like underneath, and you can create it how you want to define it. Let's add some dimension to that. First, I want to make sure that there is a tangency relationship between the spline and this circle. So select that, hold Control key, and then select tangent. And then for some dimensions, I would like to create a distance from this point to with respect to center, and come here, right click, and then lock it at that node, and then select 0.275. So that's kind of create a sort of relationship here. And then I'm going to make the distance from the endpoint to the center point, lock it here. I want to put 6 inches. Then from the center point to this one, I would like to give it 8 inches. Okay, that is better shape. So exit out of a smart dimension. Now I'm going to make it a little more like I make the transition. So this one is not gonna move like I rotated, because you have defined the tangency, but here you have a little more degree of freedom in order to create more bends or something like that. So now you're seeing that the sketch is fully defined. We are going to trim away a few portion of this. So particularly, I don't want it to this section here. So that center line that I added here helped me to trim away this portion of the circle. So I select trim and I'm going to drag all over here and hit OK. Still the sketch is fully defined. So let's go back and okay, so if you're going to a sketch, you see you have this shape. Now I wanted to create a profile for the shoehorn, like a semicircle at the end. In order to do that, I would like to create a plane here perpendicular to this curve and at this point. So I'm going to select the geometry, select the plane, and I select this reference and I create perpendicular to that. Okay, and then that would give me one definition. And another point is I wanted to create this point as a second reference and make it coincidence. Hit OK. Now we have a plane here that at the end of this spline, at the end of this curve, which is perpendicular to curve and meeting this point. Now go to sketch mode of this. And I would like to create a bend around this one. So let's going with a tri-point arc here, and then I'm going to create a sort of like this point. So, and then I'm going to give that a few dimensions at this point. To do that, I'm going to create smart dimension. So let's go to Control 8, vertical. First of all, I wanted these 2 points be horizontal. Then the distance between two, I'm going to give it 1.75. So is that, yeah, that's a good one. And then another dimension is from this point. Let's select a point off of this sketch and drop it right at the center here. It's going to give us more improvement into definition of the dimensions. So that dimension I wanted to give it 55, and then I'm going to make this point and this point to be okay. This point and this point to be coincident, or another way, if I wanted to do that, okay, this point and this point to be coincident. There you go. So I have that sketch fully defined. Exit out of the sketch and hide that plane. Okay, so now we should have an arc like this. Now I wanted to go and create another half circle at this point. So in order to do that, I might not need to have another plane for that, because front plane is pretty much the plane that I needed. So I go to front plane and start the sketch there. So I wanted to another 3-point arc here to here and here. Similar to another 3-point arc, I wanted to drop a point right at halfway of the semicircle. The dimensions that I would like to assign is from this point to this point, a vertical displacement of 0.25, quarter inch. And the horizontal distance between these endpoints at 0.875. Now I have this, and I wanted this to be, this point to be coincident, so exit out of the smart dimension. This point and this point, I would like to coincide with each other. So make coincident. Okay, and lastly, this point and this point should be horizontal relationship with each other. So now this sketch is defined. Exit out of the sketch. So essentially, I would like to use a feature to go over one profile, which is this, to this profile, and that would be the guide curve. So there are multiple ways to do that. We can use the loft feature, or we can use a boundary feature to doing that. And I'll go with the boundary surfaces feature, but you're welcome to try it with the loft surfaces and see is there any difference in the result. So let's get started. Go to the boundary surface. It's a sketch. It asks for the profiles, so I'm going to from here to here, and I wanted to this be okay. So you see that there is a twist, and the reason is, okay, let's clear that. The reason is that green should be here, and what I learned is I tried to exit out of it and try it one more time. Sometimes SolidWorks, when you rotate it and put it in a better angle, it gives you easier choice of those points. So I would select this point of this sketch and then this point. There we go. So now it has a smooth transition, and of course we wanted to this be that guide profile, this sketch that we have to define it. And you see that in the preview, it's fully defined. Now we hit OK. The rest of the setting was OK. Now we have this boundary surface, and as I mentioned, you can try to use it loft surface as well, which I assume sometimes, to my experience, boundary surfaces gives more accurate result. So now we have to trim it. I wanted to a circular trim here and another circular trim at the end. And as you have learned, we don't have a cut extrude feature when we are doing with the surface modeling. And we have to use a trim surface. And every time we are going to trim a surface, we need a reference sketch or a reference surface in order to define what areas we would like to trim. So to do that, we are going to create a trim sketch and trim this end. Okay, we need a new plane in order to make our sketch here. I wanted to create a plane that coincident with this point, and the center point here. I think my center point is turned off. There you go. And here. So I go to reference geometry, select plane, and I wanted to define a plane here, here, and here. Now that plane has fully defined because, 3 points fully define a plane as long as they are not collinear. Now I'll go and select this new plane and start a sketch here. And I wanted to create a three-point arc with one of them coincident. Select one more time. Coincident here, another one here, and go down. I'll leave it here. We can define it later. And now that these two are coincident, I'm going to make this point and this point, hold shift key, select both of this point, and make a horizontal relationship between them. And I'm going to give this a radius that is going to come all the way and tangent to that surface. Let's put the radius of 0.843. Okay. It's not going to go all the way here. Let's see what other definition it may have. Oh, okay, what's that? Okay, that should be pretty much okay. And of course, these are coincident with that point and that point. So let's select one more time, make sure that I have the coincident feature. Yeah, it's already coincident. Now, if I exit out of the sketch and let's say I wanted to trim this surface, select this one as on the sketch as a reference. Let's go back, select this sketch, and then trim the surface. Oh, make a standard. Now the trimming tool should be this sketch. I want to remove this face here and keep the other one. Okay, you'll see that it's nicely trimmed that. So again, just to review, in order to trim a surface, you need a sketch. There is no extra tool for that. Okay, successfully trimming that, I'm going to now trim the other end here. And again, I'm using the plane 2 to create that sketch for that trimming. And in order to do that, I'm going to come here and again, similar to what we have, 3-point arc, I'm going to create this one and here, and I'll leave it somewhere. So going back to define a relationship, these 2 points hold key and make them horizontal relations. Then just make sure that the center point of this is slightly over that. Let's select this center point and this one. It's a little difficult, but yeah, make them vertical. Okay, Control 8. And then I would like to create a definition of between the center line and the center point of the arc as 0.75. Okay. And the other one is, if I'm coming here, maybe a little, it's the radius of that circle that I would like to define it as 0.45. Okay, and trying to see if I can tangent these 2 faces together or coincident together. There you go, now it's fully defined. Okay, now I would like to trim that surface for that, so get out of the sketch. While the sketch is selected, going to the trim surface, and I can either select that, or this time I use the keep selection, meaning that whatever I select, I would like to keep it. So if I pick this one, okay. I think we have to go with the option. Maybe it's easier to select the portion that I would like to remove rather than what I wanted to keep. So I'm going to delete this end. Yeah, successfully delete. So this small would be taken away. Okay, it's fully trimmed out, both top and bottom. Click on the plane, hide the plane. Now you should have the surface, and I'm going to turn off the origin point to make it a nice looking. So I have one solid body, which that solid body is actually a surface. There is no need to knitting, so I can go straight to making a thickening. So let's first save it. And I wanted to put it in class exercise, call it a shoehorn. All right, So now that we have one surface, no need to knit the surfaces together. I can go ahead and start thickening. I'm going to select my surface, and the thickness would be 0.35 or 35 mil. And I'm going to select in both ways, which essentially the entire thickness would be 0.70. It would be double of this. Essentially, this 0.35 is the thickness of each side. So the total thickness would be double of that. And if I hit OK, now I have a nice solid body of this shoehorn. Okay. Now we are going to fillet, and the fillet would be might be a little challenging, but the fillet feature of the surfaces is very effective. I'm going to select fillet, and I'm going to select this full round fillet, and my intention is to make all these edges fully filleted. So for the face set of one of this one, face set 1, we are going to select the outer surface of this shoehorn, which is fully selected here. And for the face set 2, I'm going to select the inner surface of that. Because, sorry for that. Select here, okay. This one is outer, another set would be the inner. So we are asking SolidWorks is a different color. We are going to select the fillet of these two surfaces, whatever edges that would be in between. And for the edges, or essentially the set is, the name of that is, for the center face set, we are going to select all the side faces. So that would be this one. And the preview shows that all the side faces here are going to filleted. Okay, so it's come here, then we are going to select this one. Maybe we shouldn't select that part. Let me see, I think. Yeah, let's delete this. Edges of this. Yeah, it's going to make it a round surface around that. So all of this selected. Between these two. And if I say hit OK, it's gonna fully bend that one. Let's go back one more time into the fillet feature. Okay, all right, and that would be the entire of that. Just let's save it, and then we can add a appearance of that. We can change the color right here. For example, I selected a brown color to just make it a nice presentation of that. Okay, hit save and close.